Blessed be and welcome. My name is Tamara von Forslund, and I am the matriarch of the clan of Boskednan and the tribe of the Crow. Today, our pagan podcasts will start from the beginning. The most important thing to remember always is properly prepared I must always be. So today's podcast is about helping you to prepare for the journey. And this means not only within yourself, but in your sacred space, your clothing, your jewelry, and everything around you. It is important to do as much preparation as possible before beginning any of your witchcraft or shamanic work. Do not go into any ceremonial ritual half-cocked and unsure. Be positive about every step, so that way if you get stuck in any aspect, you can get yourself out of it. Know that your sacred space, your setting, is the way you want it to be. Your dress, your clothing, your robes are clean and true, even consecrated, and that all your tools are properly prepared as well. Though less important than seriousness of intent, help to prepare the mind, your mind, for its sacred shift into a new mode of consciousness. Thus, even setting up a small room in which you are going to journey, putting on clean clothes on your robe and consecrated jewelry, and gathering up all your tools that are significant to that particular ceremony. You do not need every tool on your altar or in your sacred space if you are not going to use them. Only have available what is going to be used. Even the very ceremony of the lighting of incense is another very important process, since this immediately signals that you are preparing to enter a different state of being. Incense is great to have because it attracts the positive energies that you want, and it also repels the negative energies that you don't want. Even try to establish a regular pattern of preparation, arranging things in the same place and order each time you plan a ceremony. Although you should not become too fixed to your routine, every now and then it is a good idea just to change this quite deliberately so that you do not become complacent. You should fast for at least 3 to 4 hours to prepare yourself for this first journey. Drinking only pure water. Many of the old witches and shamans, like my teacher Jubavi, would have fasted for several days, but this is not wise and necessary these days, and definitely not advisable. But you need to be strong in body and mind to travel across the great divide and stand between the worlds. Yes, a witch stands between the worlds, 1 foot in the living and 1 foot in the other world. The idea of fasting is largely a psychological one and a symbolic gesture that one to indicate your degree of seriousness and dedication. If you cannot dedicate or obligate yourself for just 3 hours of fasting, then no ritual or ceremony is going to take precedence and be strong for you to work. The same may be said of the lustral bath or shower that should be taken before you journey. Clean, fresh water should be drawn and a few sprigs of birch bark or hyssop added. Birch, according to our ancient law of the sacred trees, is indicative of all beginnings and cleansings. A single leaf from both the hazel and ash trees are symbolic of inspiration and clarification, and they may too be added. You could also add herbs or natural essences which have an especial or totemic significance for you. When you have bathed and robed yourself in your clean garments, go to your sacred space, your shrine or your temple, which is totally blacked out and where you will not be disturbed. and set up your circle as already described. You will need the following items when you're ready. Just make sure that you have a large blanket, your 7 sacred stones, which will be covering the blanket when they're placed over you, your incense, and if you have a friend or an assistant, get them to be there so they can do drumming for you and watch over you as you prepare for your great journey. But firstly, you must clear your room, if you are doing it inside, of all your small furniture as far as possible and set up your circle. Make sure it's clean and properly prepared. Have your altar either in the center or in the north, the magnetic north, the place where we are grounded and attracted to all things of the physical. Place a burning lamp or a red candle upon the altar. It should have special objects. These should be placed and assembled on or around the altar. Darken the room completely, except for the altar candles. And when you are ready, lay flat on the floor and cover yourself completely with a blanket, making sure your head is to the north and your feet to the south. Get your helper to weigh this down with the 7 sacred stones. These will be placed the one above your head, 2 either side of your shoulders, 2 either side of your hips, and the other 2 either side of your feet. These stones signify the intent to travel, the one above your head, the power of the voice to give for the visions which are perceived, your shoulders and throat, the ability of the hands to give the gift of touch to the spirit and heal, your waist and hips, and the blanket is a sign, and of course the ability of the feet to journey into the inner realms at your feet. The blanket is a sign that although bound into your earthly body, your spirit, your astral soul is still free to travel and explore. Now, when you are ready, have a small bell at your fingertips as a symbol that you can suggest to your helper to help you. Get your helper to now start drumming quietly and steadily for a time with the ringing of your bell, and tell her to keep this up quietly and gently until you give a prearranged signal of ringing the bell to stop. It is impossible to say how long you will require for your journey, as different people take different times. But remember not to exceed your abilities or your strengths, and definitely not to the point of where you are uncomfortable. These journeys take more energy than you may think, and there will be plenty of opportunities to travel in years to come. And as you listen to the drum, connect it to your heartbeat and begin to enter into a deep sense of peace and stillness. And if you have not already decided which of the 8 paths you will take, do so now. These 8 paths or directions are north, south, east, and west, and also their cross-quarter posts. Whichever one you choose, you should now go forth upon it, following it with as much determination as you can muster. And if need be, call for your sacred guide, your totem beast, to assist you, or ask your inner witch or shaman for guidance. As you listen to the drum and you encounter anything you are uncertain of, do not hesitate to question your helpers or to make the signal return. You should soon become aware of one of the many portals to the other world. This could be a hawthorn bush, 2 tall and imposing trees, even a stone dolmen of old, or a symbol which has special significance for you. Whatever form it takes, you should go forward and pass through this portal. Beyond, you are in the other world, and all preconceptions should be abandoned. Clear your mind. Do not go there with any ideas or thoughts of what you may think you see. It must be a blank canvas. For one thing you may be sure, the other world is never, ever what you expect it to be, though it may well possess aspects which you will recognize from your study of your dreams. When you're in this position and you're there looking through the dolmen or the archway, open your heart and soul to the old ones, to the ancestors, to the Shi, to the Fae, to the ancient ones, and to the gods and goddesses of the sacred wheel of time and space. Some may speak to you, and you may dialogue with them. Others will simply just pass by you as though you were invisible. Try to remember as much as possible of what you see, and keep as still as you can beneath your blanket. The combination of immobility, darkness, and drumming sets both the mind and the spirit free to encounter the other world at many levels. And when, after a long time, that you feel you are ready to return, ring your small bell, as previously agreed, a signal to your helper. In doing this, they should then begin to start drumming faster and faster and louder, to bring you back to normal consciousness as you focus on your breathing, also bringing that deeper and deeper into yourself. And if you're using a tape of drumming, time its length, and if necessary, copy it onto a tape with a special duration time. If the time that has elapsed seems short, do not worry. If your life as a witch or shaman, you will make this journey many times, and in the other world, time does not pass as it does here. Once you are recovered, make a sign to your helper to remove the blanket, and then write down all that you can remember, paying particular attention to images and symbols which may be shown to you by the ancient ones. Later on, you may want to paint some of these, either on your shield or drumhead, or on the sacred stones which will become part of your collection of power objects and tools. The importance of this visionary journey cannot be overemphasized. In many instances, it will be your first real encounter with the beings of the other world, who will become your companions and teachers in the months and years to come. It may also be their first meeting with you, and much will depend upon your courage and honesty in facing them now. If you feel that you have nothing to say to them, or are too easily overawed, you will find that they have less respect for you and will be disciplined to help or instruct you when you ask them again. At the time you should, of course, treat them with honor, as befitting beings who living outside the realms of consciousness, time, and space. So be sure to approach the whole journey seriously and with dedication as you would any sacred action. The outcome will affect you for many years to come, perhaps for the rest of your life, and is not to be undertaken lightly or without due preparation and understanding. Once you have mastered the technique of journeying, you will want to do much more work, both to improve your skills as a witch or shaman and familiarize yourself with the shape of the other world. You do not need to make up scenarios. Simply follow the directions given above and travel whenever you are taken. Alternatively, you could use this method to explore even the eightfold paths described above in your Book of Shadows. The journey has finished. You slowly awaken, remove the blanket and the stones, and you stand and you thank the other world, the Fae and the energies, and you ritually close your circle down. That is the end of your first journey. I give you my hand, I give you my heart. Merry we meet, and merry we part, and merry we'll meet again. Blessed be.